Hi, I'm Lexi from the Georgetown Project's Bridges to Growth program, and I'm here to show you how to make a special Mother's Day craft. It's a handprint keychain made from a Shrinky Dink. So if you came and picked up one of our bags here, one of our supply bags, I'm going to show you what will be in it. You'll have a sheet of Shrinky Dink plastic, a paintbrush, some paint, Mod Podge, and a key ring and a little jump ring in it for when you're ready to put it on your keychain. And then from home, you'll need a pair of scissors, a Sharpie, and a hole punch. So since we can't have any kids here yet, I'm gonna actually demonstrate how to do this on my hand. So maybe my mom will want this kind of Mother's Day gift, right? Okay, so you'll take your paint and you're gonna coat the inside, the palm of your child's hand, pretty thick coat. So I'm just gonna start doing this. And just a note of warning, this paint is acrylic paint. It's not washable kids paint. So this is something that you'll want to do wearing clothes that can get paint on it, probably you and them, right? And you'll want to do it on a surface that's, you know, they can be cleaned, or it's okay if it gets paint on it. So I put this little foam mat down under mine. If I had kids here, I'd probably cover the whole thing with newspaper, right? So just keep that in mind. Make sure you get your area ready. All right, so I'm coating, making it fairly thick. So full disclosure, I tried this earlier and did it with what I thought was thick enough paint, but it was not, because not much of my handprint conveyed onto the Shrinky Dink plastic. So now I know more paint. You don't want to do so much that it's just dripping off and you lose the details of the handprint, but you want to do enough paint so that the whole hand shows up. So I'll show you when I get there. Just a little bit more. So I'm still coating, because it starts to dry as you apply. So it feels pretty good. I think kids will probably think this is fun. And parents, if you control the environment, maybe you will too. All right. Still going, a little bit more paint. Almost there. Almost. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'll show you what it looks like. You see that? All right, so I'm gonna just come in here in the corner of my paper and just press my hand down. And if I had little kids, I might wiggle their fingers around to make sure they get out everywhere, right? And then I'm gonna gently lift my hand, but I'm gonna hold down the Shrinky Dink plastic. All right, so that one worked. There you go. So the next step will be to let this dry completely. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go wash my hand so that we can, I can tell you what we do after that. So we'll be right back. Hi again. Okay, so some time has passed. Honestly, it's taken a couple of hours really to make this dry, and it looks like it's still wet, but it's dry. So you want to wait till it's completely dry, and then you can flip it over, and you can write your child's name on the back side of it. So again, my giant hand, not a child hand, but we're working with what we've got. So I'm going to write Lexi 2020. So I might, if it was a child, I might write their age, or they could write it themselves, however you want to do it. So that's how I did it. And then I'm going to take scissors and I'm going to cut around the hand. So you want to cut between the fingers, but you don't want to cut it too close, because when when it shrinks up, it gets a lot smaller. So, and I also want to save a little bit of room to punch the hole. Oh, I meant to say earlier that if you try to do the paint and it just doesn't work, it's just a mess, or you don't have enough paint on there or whatever, you can use alcohol and paper towels to clean off your Shrinky Dink paper, your Shrinky Dink film, and then and it's good as new. So again, I didn't have enough paint on my first attempt, and so I ended up having to clean mine off and start again, and had no problem at all. The other thing I was going to say is that you're going to have Shrinky Dink paper left over, and so if you have, you know, you can use more paint on it to do whatever you want, or you could do, if you use other paint, you want to use acrylic gloss paint. If you don't use gloss, it won't stick to this clear film. The other thing you can use on it is Sharpies. So if you have colored Sharpies, of course paying attention to the little ones with colored Sharpies, they could make different sorts of shapes and cut them out and just play with the rest of the Shrinky Dink that way. All right, so I'm almost done cutting this out. Okay, I'm gonna trim it up just a little bit more. And I've already preheated my toaster oven. I'm using a toaster oven since I'm here at the office. At home, you can use a regular oven or a toaster oven, not a microwave, not a regular toaster. Has to be an oven. So you want to preheat to 325. All right, I think we're pretty good here. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do before I bake it is punch a hole in it. So see, I left a little bit of space here in the palm. So I'm just going to punch a hole, and the only hole punch that we have here is shaped like a flower, which should work fine, but a regular round hole punch would also work fine. So you can see that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, shift this over so you can see it here. And I've lined my toaster oven with a piece of foil. And so you'll want to put foil or parchment paper on your cookie sheet if you put it in the oven, or on your toaster oven tray. And you'll put paint side up right there on the tray. And it'll take about 2 or 3 minutes to cook. As it cooks, it'll curl up and stretch back out. So I'll see. Let me see if we can see that as it goes. Hopefully you can see that, how it curls up, and it will stretch back out when that's how we'll know it's ready. It's almost totally flat, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out. Okay, so since it's not quite flat, I'm going to use a plastic spatula to just kind of press it down. There we go. All right, now I'm going to let it cool. Okay, so once it's all cooled off and everything, what you'll do now is you'll get out your Mod Podge, which I have here, and you're just going to coat it just on the painted part. You're going to try to not get it very much on the clear, because it'll make it look cloudy. So we're just gonna paint this on here. Pretty good layer. And then once we get that all covered, we're gonna let that completely dry before we go ahead and put on the jump ring and the keychain. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let that dry. Okay, so it's all dry now, dry to the touch, and looks pretty good. So the last steps to do will be to put on the jump ring and the keychain. So you can use pliers if you want to attach the jump ring, but it's really easy to pull apart. So I'm just gonna do it by hand and put that there, stick the key ring on it, and then close it back up. And if you had multiple kids that you did, you could stick them on the same keychain. And again, this is bigger than your kids will be because obviously my adult hand's bigger than theirs. But anyway, you can see how it can hang from your key ring like that, and looks pretty good. So I hope you all have a wonderful Mother's Day. We miss seeing you and look forward to seeing you all in person soon. Thanks so much. Bye.